you said women expect too much from men when they don't have much themselves?
Yeah, so a lot of the times when or actually in the very beginning of my relationship, whether I had an argument with my now husband or a disagreement, a lot of friends around me would tell me that he's not worth anything because he didn't have a job, or like he wasn't necessarily making like a lump sum of money. And they said, you have a job, he doesn't. So, I mean, go find somebody that does. And, you know, if I would have listened, I wouldn't be married right now and in a happy relationship. So I just think that like women expect too much of men, but don't have the same in return. Like, I feel like if you're going to expect a 6-figure salary from a man, maybe have something to offer, or at least be making 6 figures yourself.
But expecting a job is like bare minimum.
Expecting
What would be
like,
the equitable thing to offer if you're looking for a 6-figure man?
I mean, I just think that you should have the same in return. I think if you have less and you're expecting higher, I think that's kind of like an unfair thing to do.
Isn't that women's nature, though, hypergamy, to want a man who is...
Well, yeah, like I'm saying in terms of me, like I had a job very young and my husband didn't, and just I didn't mind about that.
Go off, Nicolette.
I didn't.
Why
it
didn't
didn't
you have a
require.
job?
It didn't turn me
Nicolette,
away.
tell us how you feel. Come on.
I mean, I think that's just like the bare minimum to want a guy with a job. Maybe like you don't have to
Job in a car.
I mean, you don't have to expect him to make more money than you, but I mean, that's
Isn't that
crazy.
what you expect?
Yeah.
But she doesn't have to.
But you don't have to. I mean, to say, like, that's crazy. Like, I'm glad it worked out for you, but
Can we ask why he didn't have a job?
for so long.
Well, at the time, he was actually trying to figure out what career he wanted to do, and I was completely fine with that because we were both in school at the time. And then,
So he was a student.
yeah, he was a
Okay.
student. We were both students at the same time. So he was just trying to figure out what he wanted to do.
Did he ask you to pay for stuff, or was that something you just volunteered?
I voluntarily did it
Okay.
myself.
And you said, moving on though, you said when women have a bias against men, it is socially accepted and usually laughed off. When men do the same, they're seen as misogynists. I'm not saying both genders don't have a right to be biased. However, when men do it, it's seen as wrong to the most extreme level.
Yeah, so like I was watching like a prior podcast, and a lot of the times they talk about like, you know, like if you would prefer someone who's overweight and somebody who's not, you know, if a female has a preference that a man not be overweight, it's seen as like a preference. But when a man doesn't want an overweight woman, he's seen as like biased, he's rude, he's an ass, things like that. I just think that it's a little unfair
Yeah,
to
I agree
be
with
saying
you.
that kind of stuff.
Well, it's kind of like, I mean, if we look at the bear versus man one question, like that's a really strong bias to have against men, that you would rather, for those of you who said bear. Actually, this panel overwhelmingly said man, which is most of the times we've been asking this question for 2 months now.
You said randomized, so that's why. I mean,
Okay, thank you for that addition. Thank you.
You know what I
Oh,
mean.
you're back. I had some questions for you.
Oh, great.
But
I shouldn't
no,
say
you
anything.
make a really good point. So I mean, to say that, like, you would rather be with a bear over a man is a very biased thing to say, because the presupposition there is like such a large majority of men would opt to victimize you in some way, paints men as like inherently predatory, which is really not the case. There are absolutely terrible men out there, but the vast majority of men would not opt to harm a woman. There are monstrous men out there, but it's a small minority, very small minority of men. So, yeah.
that's why I would hope for the best in people. That's why that was my point.
Thank you.
It's
That's
randomized.
beautiful.
Yeah.
No.
Hope for the best, but prepare
not
for
in
the
the
worst.
back end studio.
Last thing